Another video. Today I'm going to be explaining how to hook up a breaker box. If you're a DYI and you don't know how and you can't afford electrician, then you're at the right spot. I'm going to show you. It's real quick, simple. So let's get started. First things first, you're going to have wires. If you had someone run it or you run it yourself, when you run your wires you always mark what it's for. I got living and kitchen receptacles. So first thing, you're going to hold it up. You want to always start and pull it to about the bottom of your breaker box to make sure you got enough wire to wire it up. So you want to get it, you want to just go ahead and get your wire stripped before you put it in there. To do this, you just take your razor blade and run it right down the center.
Score the center of it?
Score the center, exactly. Now the standard wire you use for your receptacles and light is 12-2. It's usually in yellow. If you're wondering what type of wire to use, sometimes trailers have 14 gauge wire, but if you're updating, it's always good to go back to 12-2. Alrighty, and that requires a 20 amp breaker. So once you get your wire, you're going to have this on your ground wire. You want to go ahead and just pull it off too. Pull them all off. Alright, so now I got my connector already installed with a wire through it. You can put up to 2 wires per connector. That's the way I do it. So what we're going to do is you just get your wire right through here, like so. You're just going to feed your wire through first. Alright, once you get it there to where your yellow pops through, that's when you're going to jump back up, tighten your connector up. That way it holds it and it don't pull through and mess you up when you're trying to wire your breaker. Alrighty, so tightening that connector back once you get it tight. Alrighty, and you always too, when I'm done and finished, I'm going to clamp this. All my wires are going to be really nice and uniform, straight up, so everything looks good, because I like my work to look nice. Next step, after you get your wires ran through your breaker box, you got 3 wires. You got a black wire, hot wire, white wire, neutral wire, copper wire, ground. Okay, if you look on here, you got white, which is going to be your neutral. You got a red and a black, which is your hot, that feeds your breaker box, because you got it coming from your power supply feeding to a 200 amp source. And then this is your ground over here. You got your ground post where all your grounds connect, your white post where all your neutrals connect, and then your blacks. And if you're running 220 for your stover, if you have red wires, your black and reds are going to connect to your breakers. Alright, so let's get started. First things first, we'll go ahead and run our neutral. Since it's on this side, we're going to go ahead and just feed it down. You want to run them all together. Keep your work nice and keep it orderly. It's easier if you ever have to service anything, and all around just better. So once you get it pulled down to where you at, you want to go ahead, get it roughed up where you're going to want, and get your pliers. After you find out where you need to cut it, you're going to take and cut. Alright, once you get it cut, then you're moving on. You're going to need a razor blade. You're going to take your razor blade and score all the way around your wire. Watch not to cut yourself, because it does hurt. Alright, after you get your wire scored, you loosen your bolt up and shove it right through. And all you got to do is tighten it right back down. And it's the same for your ground. Is that exact same way as your neutral. Not complicated. Make sure you shut off all your power source coming to your breaker box. If you got a shut off outside of your house, I highly recommend shutting it off if you haven't messed with juice before. That way you don't have to risk getting shocked, because even if you flip this breaker and you got it feeding into your house, all that's still going to be live. This is your main. I always flip it if I'm doing a service job for somebody, and I do be really careful not to touch anything, and you got to work. Just be very careful what you do. But anyway, back to what we're doing. After you get your neutral hooked up and everything looks good, it's uniform with the others, you move on to your ground. And alrighty, your ground's just going to be the exact same way you feed it. You want to stay in the same path, keep all your wires of the same suit together. Make sure you go and you don't overlap any in the wrong ways either. It will make it harder in the end and be more difficult to get right. Alright, see how I'm keeping my coppers together? That's all my grounds. Now they're all going to run down here together, and then it's going to feed. It's going to feed right in. I go behind. Some people can go over and overlap, but me, each time I go behind it. I feel like it works easier and out. So already, now I got all my grounds together. They're coming down nice and uniform. Yep. So I'm gonna bring it down, same way I did the white. Bend it, get a rough where I have to cut it. Alrighty, take your wire pliers after you got it bent about where you need, and you figure you're gonna need it cut there, go ahead and cut it. Alright, some people take and they put a little L on the end to help go into the post. Alrighty, so once you got your L on there and your post is loosened, you're gonna go ahead and pop your wire through it, tighten it up. After you get it tight, then that's when you can shape your wire and make it real nice and uniform to match the other wires. Alrighty. So we got that done. Now I'm just going to give it a little bit of shaping to match my other work. And there you have it. Now that we've got our grounds, we got our neutrals hooked up over here. Now I'm going to show you how to hook the breaker up. And it goes in order 1, 2, 3, 4. I've already had my 1, 2, and my 4 up. My 3 is going to be here. This is the next breaker I'm going to hook up. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and run your wire first. Get it in the path that you want. Make sure everything's nice together. Alrighty, so I got my wire where I want it. You're going to want to bend it. Bend it. Hold with your thumb the mark where you need it cut at. Go ahead and give you a rough cut. It's a little long on my rough cut, so I'm going to come in about right here. You're going to go cut it. Grab your knife and swirl all the way around. Same thing. You just basically repeat the process. Now I'm going to show you how to hook the breaker up. Now when you're popping these out, make sure everything's turned off. You want to push towards the outside of your breaker box and pull straight out. Alright, now if you look here, that right there is where you're going to have to take your flathead screwdriver. You want to reach down in there and go ahead and loosen the connector up so you can get your wire in there. Alrighty, so after you get your connector loose, you want to go ahead, take your black wire, which is your hot, shove it right here in the back of your breaker box. And where the in between them connectors, alright, after you got it in there, make sure you hold pressure, steady pressure coming towards it. You don't want it to be loose and slack it. You're going to tighten it up. Get everything tightened up. Alrighty, so now your wire is tightened up. Now it's as simple as putting it in the exact way you took it out. You go ahead and put your back in, and then you're going to press it towards the middle, lock it, boom, there you have it. There's your breaker. Now you just shape it up, make everything match. And again, always make sure you got your electricity turned off before you attempt to do any type of work in the electrical box. You do not reach in it like I'm doing if there's juice to it. It can shock you. Always be careful. But there you go. If that helped you guys and you now know how to hook up a breaker, don't forget to like and subscribe. I got tons more videos, and I'll make any video that y'all want me to. If I can help you in any type of way, just let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.
Comment and below.